And this is chapter 5, lesson 3. We're placing a border around an image using a stroke. So anyway, so we have this little basketball star here. Whoa. Control 0 to zoom in. And we're going to go to the layers panel. And we're going to hide, click the indicator, the background layer. So we want to hide the background. We don't want to see the background at this point. As you see in figure 18. We're going to press X on our keyboard to switch to the, D on our keyboard to switch our foreground button and background button into the default colors, which is black and white. Black for foreground and white for background. Black for foreground and white for background. We're going to click on the Hoopster layer on the layers panel, and we're going to now lock the transparent pixels button on the layers panel, which is using this button here. Lock transparent pixels. And you actually see a little padlock like the background color. The good thing about this is that now when we apply the border to the color to the stroke of this layer here, we are forcing Photoshop just to work on the invisible path that we have around this shape. Okay, so and it also only helps you because there are transparent pixels in this layer. If you didn't have transparent pixels in this layer, this command and what we're going to do next here is not, it wouldn't have worked. The next we're going to go to Edit, and we're going to go to Stroke. Where's oh, there it is. Right under Fill. So Edit, Stroke, and we decide on how big of a stroke we want in pixels, and we're told to put 3 in the width of that. And then you have location. Where do you want to apply the stroke of 3 pixels width? Remember that a path, let's pretend this guide is a path. Okay? It's an invisible line that makes up an object. You can apply, if it's a closed shape, which the boy is a closed shape, okay? The path that goes around and he actually closes at one point. You can put the 3 pixel width stroke to that line on the inside of the shape, or you can put it smack down on top of it, or you can put it on the outside. The reason why we're choosing outside in this case is because if we put it on the center or inside, you are going to be covering some of the image of the boy. Okay? So sometimes that is not something that you want to do. You don't want to cover the boy at all. You just want a stroke on the outside without covering any of him. Okay? So I'm going to give an example and do a thicker stroke. Don't do this. I just want to show you. If I click on 10 pixels, put it in the outside, it looks, oh, it doesn't look good enough. I need to put more because this picture apparently is too big. Let me go more here. Undo stroke. We're going to redo fill. Let's make something more dramatic. Maybe 150. Let's see. Okay, the color is black. We're going to click on OK. Wait a minute. I'm still not applying it. Perhaps man, 100 pixels. This is really small. Alright, hold on. So anyways, I can see a very faint transition, faint stroke on my image, but and I put a 250 pixel thing, whereas they told you to put 3. So I'm gonna undo what I did. Otherwise, undo stroke, and just make sure here. Control Shift Z. I'll revert this to original here. Hide this. Lock transparent. Edit. I'm just redoing everything I did here, just in case. Instead of 250, I don't know why I'm not seeing this. But anyways, the width of the stroke is 3, and we're gonna put it on the outside. I'm gonna click on OK. And you can barely see this. It's very, very, very faint. So I'm going to show the background again. And you see very faint thing. But I guess that's... I don't know why it's so faint. But there's definitely a stroke. Alright, we're going to move on to chapter 5, lesson 4. We're going to now use blending colors using the gradient tool. And because we already explained what this is going to happen, we're just going to go ahead and do this. So we're going to press I to go to the eyedropper tool. I'm going to click on the blue shirt on X250 and 300. So I'm going to pull out my information panel here. It's going to be 250X and 300Y. So 251, close enough. We're going to click the switch foreground color, which is shortcut key X. Okay, so you want to make sure that your foreground is white and your background is the navy blue that you just sampled from his shirt. And let me see here, we're going to click on the light plum swatch. So open your swatches panel. Light plum swatch. One of the new swatches you added. Did I add? Palm leafed. Wait a minute. When did that happen? Oh shoot, they're using one that's downloaded from Cooler. We don't have it, so let's just go and make it. Okay, so the new swatch is not going to be here. So we're going to go, just click on the foreground color here. We're going to go to the color picker and we're going to make it. And the R value, make sure R is selected. R is going to be 168. Green is going to be 103. And blue is going to be 104. Okay, so this is a light plum watch. We had to make this because we skipped downloading the color palette from Cooler. Okay, we did not have an Adobe ID, so we skipped those pages. But now we're actually using a color, but it's okay, it's not a big deal because we can just make it according to the RGB values that they give us. Red 168, green 103, and blue 104. So click on OK, and now I actually have the two colors that I'm working on. I have the light plum and I have the navy blue from the shirt. Okay, so now let's see here. We're gonna hide the hoopster layer. We don't want to see the kid. Hoopster's gone. Boom. We're going to make sure that the background layer is active. So click on the background. It needs to be highlighted in blue. We want to press G. No, it's Shift. Well, you want to go to the paint bucket tool. So Shift G if you don't have it. You know, like I'm on gradient right now. Shift G again for the paint bucket tool. Press and hold the mouse button until the list. Oh no, that's well. Yeah, they want us to switch to the gradient tool. Sorry, so Shift G to switch that to the gradient tool. We're going to select angle gradient button. So this is going to be, I believe it's this guy here, angle gradient. The third one, option modifier on the top. There are several types of gradients that we can apply. This is one's the angle gradient. Click the gradient picker list. So click on this guy here. And then we're going to double click the foreground to background gradient fill. Foreground to background gradient fill. So double click on that. Boom, boom. Okay, so that closes that, and it uses our foreground and background colors to use the gradient tool on this modifier angle gradient. Alright, so now we're going to drag the gradient pointer from 75x 75y, which looks like it's here. They are giving you the guides for that. So let me make sure. If I put on this corner of the guide, it's 75 by 75, so that's not quite it. 75 by 75. Get close. There you go. I'm right there. And we're going to click and drag to 575 to 710. Okay, I'm at 576 to 712. That's close enough for me. You basically follow the guides. You go from one corner of the guide to another if you look at my screen. And then you let go. Boom. Okay, so it's going to look a faded gradient in here. And the angle is going to be all through pretty, they'll find there's no gradient here, but the gradient is only applied to this top left area. And you save your work. Okay, that's it. They want you to review the hoopster. And at this point, at the end of lesson 4, this is what the image is going to look like. We applied a stroke. And then we applied a gradient fill using the angle gradient option.